Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to Silver Tent TV. I'm your host, Siobhan Reardon, and my beloved dog Elsa is at my feet, and occasionally she can join in. We just go with it. The Silver Tent is a global online platform for women over 50. It's a place where women can come to be supported, to be nurtured, to be encouraged, to realise those dreams, to pursue those visions that have yet to be realised. It's also a place where to be a platform to share women's wisdom, incredible wisdom that we've built up over the many decades that we've spent on this earth. And it's with that in mind that we have the wonderful Laura Starling with us today. A very warm welcome to you, Laura.
Thanks, Siobhan.
Laura is a graphic designer by trade, working over 40 years, so we qualified over 40 years ago, and is renowned for her work with logos. And has a really special take on that, which is about how can we use the logo in our life to transform our life, to build a life of success, and how the logo can help us in that. So before we start, Laura, I think it's a great place to begin is what does logo, what does it mean, logo?
Well, originally, I think logo means the word. So in the beginning, there was the word. And then from that, supposedly, all of Earth was created. So it's quite, I don't know who decided that they would use that word for a logo. But a logo today is really an icon or a symbol that represents an intention. And that intention usually is a large business or a brand, something that people want to share. So it's like people will have a vision. They embody that in the logo. And everything that engages, and then they deliver it to the world to help manifest it.
Now, there's something about big business knows something about logo. They get it. So what is it that business knows about logos that we need to understand to help us in our lives?
Well, they know. Sometimes I don't think they know what they know. But I know, having worked with lots of big businesses, is that they totally and absolutely protect their logo. It is one of their major investments. So when we get the logo right, and people will literally spend hundreds of thousands, even millions of pounds getting the logo right, they will sue people who copy it. It's as if it holds the whole energy and the dynamics of their values, of their strengths, of the spirit of that company. And if they get it right, if they can share that level, we see that logo and we say, I want that. I want to be a part of that. And then they make their profit because we'll buy into it.
You've published 2 books. I was saying you really are a renowned writer and expert in this field, and you've worked in the corporate field for many years before you started to take your experience much more into personal development field. So if a logo is something that embodies the values, the goals, the spirit of something, how can that help us in our own lives?
We can use it in lots of different ways. The one thing that inspired me, that kick-started this whole thing, was a friend of mine was sharing how you could potentize a glass of water with a symbol. That could be a homeopathic symbol or something like that. And I started to think, what about Coca-Cola? What about all those drinks that have a very powerful symbol on them? And could we be affected by that? Theoretically, according to the scientist Masaru Emoto's work, we could. So I thought maybe we should be careful, which is what the first book, The Logo Decoded, is about. We should be careful about what we put on our energy bodies. And then how could we use that to decide what we want and create our own future? And that's what the next book is about, which is called Identify Yourself. So it's how we can use it, and it works at those many different levels. That's what's exciting. When you lift up the physical, then you consciously see what's underneath. I don't hate the word magic, but it feels like magic. It really does.
So you talked then about the symbols that we put on our energy body. For someone that's not familiar with that term, energy body, tell us a bit more about that.
Well, we all have an aura, and I don't know that much about it, but there is a belief that our aura, it is our aura, in fact, that holds our body in place, and that gets very much into quantum physics. But perhaps one of the easiest ways to understand it is there's a company called HeartMath, and they measure the energy that comes off our body. They've got quite sophisticated technologies that do that. So they have discovered that the energy of the heart is something like 5,000 times greater than the energy of the brain, and it informs us. It informs our whole body. So if we walk into a room, the heart will get that energy first, and it'll give our brain the message. It's in a tiny instant. So we might walk into a room or a new house, and the heart will say, "Don't like this. No, it's not good." But the house is the right price, or we need somewhere to live, or whatever. The brain will iron that out. Really important. I hope that explains it well enough. And often logos are placed over our heart chakras. When we've got T-shirts. So it's interesting when you delve into it.
I'm smiling because I'm reading that very book at the moment. And you're right, it's a very powerful theory about the significance of heart intelligence and how we can use it. And one of the things that HeartMath encourages us to do is to focus on the positive, focus on the creative. And it also shows scientifically the impact of what happens on our heart when we focus on the negative. And I suppose that's another way that we can use the logo, isn't it, to draw that out?
Absolutely. So why not put our logo on our heart? So as that energy comes out, we're not selling or encouraging somebody else's logo or their vision. We're actually encouraging our own vision. It's a very simple and free way of helping to create the future that we want to see.
So I know you've got a workshop coming up later in the month, but if I came to you and said, okay, I want to develop my logo, what would you do? What would happen? What would be the journey that we would go on together?
Well, I've devised a little questionnaire. It's quite simple, really, but it is actually based on the same questions that one would ask a multi-million-pound company. So first of all, what do you want? What do you want it to do? And it doesn't have to be a business. It's businesses that have honed this skill, this technique over the years, particularly since about the end of the beginning of the 19th century, or the 20th century. But it's been around in different formats for a long time, since we could chant, since people drew images on cave walls. So first of all, I'd say, what is it that you want in your life that we can do that? So our caveman ancestors would want some food. So they believed that a multi-million-pound company. And so we start with the intention like that. And then what would it feel like? One of the things that I love doing, if we flip it and start with the feelings instead of ending with the feelings, we can work backwards, and it's very, very powerful.
It's really interesting because in some of the previous shows of the Silver Tent, we've explored a lot about my particular project, which is Silverco Housing. And it didn't really come into being until we discovered our logo. Now, we didn't have much money, and we're not necessarily very creative. So we went to one of these online companies, but we found the most beautiful logo that for us just encompasses everything, and it feels like it changed everything once we started to use it. And suddenly we weren't just an idea, we weren't just a group of people dreaming. The moment we got the logo, it started to ground it and to earth it and to make it very real.
It does. It gives it a visual manifestation, doesn't it, really?
Yeah.
And it also would have engaged you. It made you a tribe. Logos identify us as a tribe. But I did a logo for a client in Boulder in Colorado, and she'd been looking for a year for a house. And she had always found houses very, very easily. And she just didn't understand what was wrong. So we did a logo for her. We did it quite quickly, but very intensely. And we came up with it had an eagle in it, and it had a name to it, and it had all sorts of things. It didn't have a picture of a house and the front garden. It was nothing literal. It was, how would this be? How are you going to feel when you walk in the front door? And she got a realtor to carry it around in her wallet. She got meditated on it. She got her friends to meditate on it. A month later, she had her house. She said it was just like, it was absolutely magic. It was as if that house was waiting for her.
Wow, incredible. And we have many practitioners in the Silver Tent as well. So are you available for them to come to you and to work with them to help them develop
Yeah,
their...
of course, always available for that. It's such fun work. It's so powerful, and it is fun because it engages our creative side.
And of course, our right brain, which is where so much of our true intelligence lies.
It's the only way we're going to change the world, Siobhan. This is my really very strong belief. I spoke to a man called Ian McGilchrist after I read his book, I can't remember what it's called, it'll come to me, The Master and His Emissary. And I said, have I got this right? And he said, yes, you have, because I was trying to, condense quite a lot of information in the book into an easy way so that I would understand it in the first place. And it is our right brain, as Lynn McTaggart says, that's connected to the quantum field. It's our right brain that's creative. It's our right brain that has no space or time constraints. And it'll find exciting things. It'll say,
just a bit about, because we talked about the creativity and the engagement with the right brain, but let's...
So it's going to affect us on lots of different levels, but I loved the experiment that some scientists did, where they not wired up their brain, but put detectors on somebody's outside of their head, as they do. And then they showed them, I think it was a bottle of Coke and then a bottle of Pepsi. And the scientists knew which bottle they were looking at by the way that their brains fired up, to the point where they have brain cell firing patterns that they refer to as the, I can't think of anybody famous, but it's called the Bridget Bardot firing pattern, or the somebody else firing pattern. So they fire up in a particular way. And that's the way that celebrity will be projecting themselves, which encourages us to fire, to respond in a certain way. And that becomes the firing pattern that's unique.
Wow.
It's amazing.
So your workshop is, because I can feel now straight away there's going to be lots of women that are going to be interested in what you're doing. So we're blessed to have you in the UK at the moment, and you're going to be running your workshop in Ilminster in Somerset. Is that's Somerset?
It is.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
On the 30th of August.
Mm-hmm.
So if I wanted to come and join you there, what can I expect to receive on that workshop?
Well, I'm doing it free. The place is lovely. I love the place.
Wow, it's free.
Yeah.
Wow, people, did you hear that? There's a free workshop happening with a renowned expert in logos.
That's because, Siobhan, I feel I want to get the information out there. And while it would be nice to earn money, right now, I just feel let's just get it out there, get people changing the world for a better place. And I don't think it will change the world unless we think in a different way, as I've said before, in a different way. So I just want people to learn about it. And if they're interested, then I'll do more. So it's putting it out there, as they say. So it's a great place. They do the best coffee in Somerset, I think. It is just going to be a small workshop. And it'll be talking about the elements that go to make up a logo, because each of those is very powerful and has been used for thousands of years in their own rights, like color and sound and different shapes to change the world. Even thinking of things like the Christian cross and the Nazi symbol, where do they come from? Or we know where they come from, but it's interesting. We'll be talking about that sort of thing. But then also how we can be affected by them, but then how we can use those effectively as well for ourselves.
Amazing. Laura, we met about 20 years ago, didn't we? And
I can't believe it.
Yeah, I know. And you helped me at such a moment in my life. I was, had been facilitating and running workshops. I was running, how do you do it? And I very gingerly kind of thought, okay, I'll do a training the trainers workshop. And you were there and you really helped me. You helped me to formulate the words. I remember sitting with you and you very kindly gave me your time to design the poster, and it went on to be a really successful course. And I've run it many times since. So I really want to say thank you to you.
It's not only a pleasure, but you were, when I say you were easy, you know what I mean.
Yes.
Enthusiastic.
About many ways.
You were just so enthusiastic and with so many skills that it was really just undoing the nuts and bolts so you could just glide to wherever you wanted to be. was a pleasure.
And I wonder, how many times have you done that over and over again, of just, you know, that little pebble and the ripple effect that it has? You know, you talk about wanting to change the world, and I suppose I'm saying to you, I think you do already, in what you do and how you support people, and especially women.
I hope I do it lots. When I say I try to do it a lot, there's nothing trying in it. I think that there's nothing I like better than, and this happens a lot in the logo work, when I'll be talking with people and we'll get their logo and they see themselves. And I'll go, you know, you've got a logo that would work for a huge global brand. You can deliver this globally. You are as good at this level with any of the global brands. And people will just, and I can just see them light up. And then sadly, so often they'll go, oh my God, that's so scary. Is that scary? Can I do it? So I work with coaches and things, but to just get people over their hurdles. But I just love how each of us is so very special, and each of us has a unique gift, and it's so easy to bear it. And I think we as women, so it's like the silver, when women don't support other women, then they play the masculine thing. You know, if we can all just help each other find that special spark and express it in whatever means, whether it's a logo, whatever, then, and it's an easy way of expressing it through a logo, because it's a little visual ambassador that goes out without you. So it's powerful.
Wonderful. We've come to the end of our time. So I'm going to put up links to your 2 books, and I'm going to put up links to your workshop details as well, Laura, for anyone that wants to pursue it. But in the meantime, can I just say a massive thank you to you? It's been a joy to be with you again, and to talk about success.
Thank you very much, Siobhan. It's been a huge pleasure seeing you again too. I hope we do it again soon. Not this, but we connect with each other again soon.
We will, my love. Thank you so much. Wherever you are in the world, if the sun isn't shining in your skies, may it shine in your heart. This is Siobhan Reardon signing out, and Elsa's still asleep. Bye-bye.